Welcome to Unfiltered 3, Spilling the Tea with Cece,
Autumn,
and Brie.
Hi, friends. How are you? I am excited for our episode tonight. I feel like Tipsy Tarot is becoming one of my favorite episodes that we do.
Yes, I almost said filming.
Oh, definitely. Mike's a bit touchy tonight, so.
Yes. We were having some technical difficulties, but we got through them.
Yes.
But yeah, no, we're going to do another Tipsy Tarot. We've got margaritas this time around. We're trying to change it up. Every Tipsy Tarot do a new drink.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got drink recommendations, share them on any of our social medias or anywhere that you can touch base with us.
Yes, especially for winter, because I feel like I can think of minty ones.
I feel like you need like a warm drink, like almost like
hottie
Bailey's
toddy,
hot toddy.
hot toddy.
Hot toddy.
Or
Eating
like a Bailey's and a coffee kind of thing. Don't you make a homemade?
I make homemade Kahlua, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to go down that route because it gotta be warm, especially in New York. Ugh, cold. But yeah, so we one of our first episodes that came out was our summer goals. And so we thought, how perfect is it that it's now September and we're starting that new season. We're transitioning into that new season to kind of go over our goals from the last episode, see if we reached any of them,
Yeah.
if maybe they changed, and then I think potentially like what our goals are for the upcoming season.
Yeah, it's a nice check-in, see where you are, if your goals have changed, and move forward. I feel like everyone who is working on their goals should have a time period that you set aside to check in on them. So it's not just like New Year's resolutions where you set them and you're like, I have a whole year to figure this out. Well, it might change throughout the year.
Yeah, I also like the idea of just getting reconnected with them because I feel like when so much time has passed by, the idea of them being within arm's reach kind of leaves.
Yeah.
And so when you can like reflect on it or just connect with it again, it feels real, and it feels like when you first made that goal, and then you're like, oh, you have the ambition and the drive and the motivation to do it.
Yeah, and there's less like guilt on yourself if your goals do change because you're allowing that time period to change them, and it's not like you're coming back however long later and you're like, oh, I didn't get to that goal. I did get to do these things, but I'm such a failure because I didn't do this or whatever. Like, no, you get to recheck in, you get to reform your goals and start anew. It's a new, fresh start.
Yeah, I definitely remember saying I wasn't going to beat myself up if I didn't get to all the things I had on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hold myself to it. No negative talk. No, just keep moving and
Give yourself grace.
thank you.
I do encourage you, if you haven't listened to that episode, to go listen to that episode.
Definitely.
And then you will have more context to if we have any references to that episode.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely check it out. And I think Brie should tell us a little bit more about the spread she found for us for our tarot reading.
Yes.
So I didn't want to do the same tarot reading. I don't want it to be the same reading every time we do this kind of check-in episode. So this time we're going to do an autumn equinox spread. So it's kind of looking ahead at the autumn season. This episode's all about autumn.
It's my season, bitches.
So it's a 7-card spread, and it starts with where to focus my energy this season. Growth I'm bringing into autumn.
Oh, God.
An obstacle of this season. Something to shed, something to forgive, something to harvest, something to embrace.
I like that.
Yeah, you like something bringing growth into.
Dude, my brain thought of that before yours. Oh my
I wasn't
goodness.
gonna say anything.
I live in the ditch, guys. It's permanently where my brain is. It's so funny. especially because at work I have this image of being innocent, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, think what you want. I kind of like the idea that they have this like innocent image of me, and like I'm naive and don't know, and then every time I say something that doesn't fit that image, it shocks the shit out of them, and it's really fucking funny. But yeah, I know. My brain is definitely permanently in the ditch. It's a fun spot.
I reference myself to having the brain of a 12-year-old boy with jokes.
Yeah.
Just being, yeah.
Before we get into the spread, should we kind of reflect on our goals, see where we're at, where we want to head this fall, and then get into the reading?
Sure. Yeah. So I can't think of a single goal that I actually completed that I made.
With ya.
I think I laid in the sun. Not as much as I wanted to.
We have a beach trip planned.
We have a beach trip planned next weekend, and we are having a pool day tomorrow. So, you know, that is happening. This summer was goals I didn't realize I was going to set for myself, but kind of checked off my long to-do list for a while now. And that was kind of like falling in the lines of like taking care of myself. So I have a very deep fear of the dentist. I've had some traumatic experiences that I'm not going to get into right now, but it has made me stay from the dentist as far as like, you know, getting my wisdom teeth out, stuff of that nature. And so I finally did it. Got my wisdom teeth out. Wasn't that bad? And so I kind of was like, okay, wow, okay, I can do this. Like, it's not that bad. Because like now I'm an adult. I can say when no or whatever. Like I can make those boundaries that I need to make for those situations. And so that was a goal I didn't realize I was going to accomplish this year, because in my head I was like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah, it's on the someday list.
Yeah. So that was cool. That's about it. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm proud of myself, because that was something that had the relief I felt afterwards was huge.
I'm sure.
Just even going to the dentist to get the wisdom teeth out.
Yeah, that first step.
Yeah, I went and bought Zelda afterwards. I was like, I need a gift. I need a reward.
Yes. I love that.
And then yeah, I think a lot of this summer has just been trying to enjoy the moment. I feel like I get so caught up in having to do everything and wanting to hit all of this, because New York only gets 3 to 4 months of nice warm weather. And so I feel like this like impending loom, I don't know the word that I want. It's not doom, but it's just like this.
It's like a dark cloud on the horizon.
Yeah. Like it's not fully over you, but it's like constantly creeping, right? So like you feel like you have to be outside when it's sunny, and you have to do all these things. And it's like, because the winter months suck so bad.
Yeah.
And so I just really tried to focus on doing what I wanted to do in the moment and not in the future. And it's been good. I haven't done nearly as much as I wanted to, but what I have done has been meaningful.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed it. It hasn't been bad. And I'm refused. Fall doesn't start till the end of September.
On the equinox.
It is still summer.
Yes.
I still have time.
Yes.
What about you guys?
I've gotten a lot of housework done that I've wanted to. I've been very proud of myself. And we had some help with the trees outside. I know it wasn't on the list, but like there were little things that popped up along the way that I have felt very accomplished when we were getting them done, especially when it comes to the house. I didn't get any of the stained glass stuff I wanted to do, but cleaning, picking up, and taking care of the trees, little things, you know?
Yeah.
And decorating for the fall season. It's always a favorite of mine. And instead of doing like fall, we just straight do Halloween. So to all my Halloween lovers out there, yeah, it's all set up and done.
How about, I know one of your bigger goals was like how you talk to yourself and how do you treat yourself? How has that been this season?
I've been working really hard on that. And I will stop myself mid-sentence and be like, I'll just be like, oh, you were so stupid not to think that. Because I say these things out loud a lot. And I will literally just stop what I'm doing and say, no, you are not stupid. You made a mistake and that's okay. And I've been catching myself doing that more and more and more. And I hope to continue that.
Yeah, we actually had a really good conversation the other day when we were editing one of the TikToks. And her TikTok, if you guys have seen it, it's the one where she has those affirmations. And it's like, I'm happy, I'm blessed, I'm grateful, whatever. And at first she had it as your. Yeah. And I was like, well, you got to change that because now you are talking to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
You have to talk to yourself. So you have to say I, me, I'm, all those words.
I am affirmations.
Yeah, it definitely takes a spin on it in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting that I go, oh, I did write that. Oh, why didn't I write I'm?
Yeah.
And and then saying it and repeating it back to yourself. So yeah.
That's actually, not to turn it around on me, but that's actually something that I've been doing every morning that I wake up because I have to wake up so early for work. I'm miserable. And everyone keeps telling me, you'll get used to it. You get used to it. No, I am not a morning person. I'm simply not, but I am living a morning person's life. So we're doing it. Okay. But I'll wake up and I'll say like 6 or so. I won't even put an amount of what I'm saying to myself. I just say it until my alarm goes off again. Mm-hmm. And I'll just say things like, I am intelligent. I am worthy. I am dedicated. I am loyal. All of those traits that like I love about myself that I have or that I want to have or aspire to be. And I've said it every morning. I haven't had a difference in my morning yet, but I know at some point I will.
Yeah.
And I just thought that like you and that conversation that we had the other day, that is something I started to do this summer.
That's amazing to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Very proud of you.
Thanks.
I'm proud of both of you.
It seems so simple when you say it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to give myself positive affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
But to actually do it can be a little difficult. It's a little more emotional than you think.
Yeah, and I really try to emphasize that I am. Mm-hmm. And my favorite one to say is, I love me. I'll say it or I'll say, Autumn, I love you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of those variations.
Yeah, when I first started doing affirmations, it was like in the depths of my depression during winter. And it just felt like I was faking it. Mm-hmm. Like when you first start out, it's like, what? I'm just talking to myself in the air and I don't even believe it. Like I want to believe it, but like it doesn't feel true. It doesn't feel real. I don't feel it. But now that I've been doing it for months, over seasons, it's like I feel different when I say the affirmations, but also in moments of when my anxiety is higher, my depression is worse, or if I'm having a panic attack, whatever it is, I notice how I'm talking to myself in those moments as well has changed. And I've been more gentle with myself and I'm able to catch it. And because of that, I've had more aha moments, more things have clicked. Like there's a lot of things I understand about mental health. Mm-hmm. This is my special interest. I went to school for this kind of stuff and I understand a lot, but when it finally truly clicks in and you have that moment of realization, it's a whole different ballpark. And it's just that moment of like, I am so glad that I am here and I'm on this path and I truly love myself for being here right now and everything that I'm doing. And it's just a really nice moment of self-love and actually feeling it. It really does click eventually.
The warm fuzzies. Oh, I love it. Just positive vibes. I love it so much.
Yeah.
My goals. I've actually done more than I thought I was going to do, like just within the last month. Like I thought I haven't done any of my goals. Like I want to at least get something done. Like I felt motivated to do something. And hiking, we haven't been able to get out and go to different trails. We haven't been able to do that per se, or like be able to go to the Adirondacks this fall and do a bigger hike like we usually do, Andy and I. But there was this time where we had company over for a week, and they are very much like motivated, get up, go to the skate park, and we're doing all these things even on vacation. And it just motivated me. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to go on a hike down the morning path, the trail that we have near us, and do hike as long as I can within 30 minutes. And then I'm going to work on that stamina and keep going back and forth every morning. And then I'm going to do my yoga. And like, I went from wanting to change just one thing and going slow at a time to just changing a bunch of things, which sometimes works for me. Sometimes I burn out of it. I did burn out of the hiking every morning just because it started to rain.
Yeah.
I do have the right gear to hike in that, but I lost motivation. And then I started thinking about trying to do that in the winter, and I'm like, I do still will get back into it when it's like nice weather. We'll see if I get into the inclement weather. We'll see. Maybe in the spring. But I have been doing yoga every morning and every night. So in the morning, I do more of an active yoga that has more vinyasas and flows. And then at night, I do more of a bedtime yoga, which is more restorative. And it's just helped me with that goal of getting back in touch with my body and moving and feeling less restrictive in my body, because I was really bad when I set that goal, where I just felt disconnected from myself, and I'm starting to feel that connection again.
Oh, good.
So to me, that goal has been successful, and I'm going to continue it into fall.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
I'm sweating.
Just have a couple more sips.
I know. It is nice and cold.
I still hear the clitter clatter. It is the ice.
I've still only drank a quarter.
We also took shots before this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as fall goals, I will continue into the yoga and stretching every day. And then I want to work on my project for the outside once the vegetation dies back.
Mm-hmm.
And the weather is cool, but hopefully not wet yet. That'll be... My motivation gets lost as soon as anything isn't sunny. But those are my two biggest focuses.
Have you put any more time into spending time with your tree?
Yes. Now that you mention that, in my morning routine after my yoga and I start to set up for work, I do a simmer pot while I work. And so I'm working, and I make sure not to put anything that's harmful for the earth in it.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever the intention is for that day, I'll work alongside it. And then once I close out for work, that tree is across my window while I work. So I see it, I connect with it. And so after work, I go outside and I give the water of the simmer pot as an offering to the tree.
Oh, I love that.
And that's how I'm starting to build that relationship.
Have you named it yet?
I don't name them.
You don't name them at all?
It's just it's a feeling connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to name things.
Branch. Bark.
Oh. I don't know. It would just be like whatever name popped in my head.
Branch.
All right. Well, if I connect with a plant or tree, I'll let you know. Although my plants have been doing really well.
Yeah.
The one that I thought was going to die is blooming.
That's
like, just great.
amazing.
It's just growing and growing. And the other one I thought was going to die. I cut all the bad leaves off. The one I asked Andrew about with the
alocasia.
Yeah, I think that was the one. But 2 very successful leaves right now. So
Good.
fingers crossed. And I started doing the watering from the bottom.
A good butt chug.
Yeah, I've never done that before. So, no, I've never done a butt chug.
That's good. No hate if you have. Interesting turn of an event.
Back to plants. But yeah, no, they've been doing good. So yeah, that's made me really happy. Because I always think they're going to die. And I feel so bad. And I talk to my plants.
Good.
So yeah, which I was going to offer you a clipping from my bathroom plant. I don't know what any of them are. So I'm just like, living room plant, bathroom plant.
I think, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it was growing so long that the cat was getting, it was in her way. And so I clipped off that piece and I've been growing it in water and roots have come out. So I thought I would offer it to you if you'd like it.
Send me a picture of it.
Okay.
Let me know what it is.
You'll know.
Yeah.
I think that's a good representation of growth, though. Like how you can, like, that's a good representation of like your depression, right? Like this plant has been near death and then it can pop back up with just a little bit of nurture and care. And that's just like a good representation of how like we grow and how it's that constant up and down. And
yeah, I mean, I've definitely had some major up and down days, especially last few months. Oh, it's very heavy days where, nothing major. You just feel it. You feel drained. You feel, other than that, And it's great that I have the ability to take a step back and go, I need a day just for me. I'm very lucky in that way because I've still been very, very busy, but I still have those moments where I can go, okay, everyone leave me alone. I need a moment and me time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very important.
Everyone needs to remember to have a me time. Oh, very important, yes.
Yes. So what are your goals for fall?
For fall? I mean, I definitely want more housework. There's so many things on that list that I can't even. But I feel like that goes for everyone. There's so many things on your list, but definitely more house stuff. I want to have more family quality time, which I've been working really hard with balancing what I'm allowing versus, setting boundaries and whatnot. And all that was
having it be healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much. And I've had a couple of difficult conversations lately with members. And I think they've been very positive. They've been very hard, but they've been very positive. And so a lot of self-reflecting on that. I want to upkeep that. And I've also ended all those conversations with words with, if I didn't care, I wouldn't be having this conversation. I would just walk away and say, fuck it. But because I'm sitting here saying these very difficult things, we're getting very emotional. I'm saying it because I care so much. And I always want to reiterate that so that they hear how I feel. It's not just I'm trying to berate you or however you're taking these words that I'm saying. It's supposed to be positive. So I'm just hoping that on all ends it's received as a positive, reflecting conversation versus me just saying things to beat someone up, because that is not the case.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping I have the strength to continue that.
I know you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Setting boundaries is hard. It's not an easy task, both within and for that person, because, I mean, you can say one thing one way, but if a person has a mindset or has a perspective, they're going to take it how they are in their head, perspective-wise. And so it's really hard with a boundary. And I think that that's a really good piece to share, though, is like, hey, I care about you and I'm having this conversation because I care about this relationship. I need to set this boundary because that's what it is. It's a boundary within myself, but it's also a boundary for you. So our relationship can continue to grow and nurture in a healthy way. And in 6 months, 6 years, however long it takes, I don't end up resenting you or hating you because I haven't said these things or I haven't made this boundary. And therefore, I'm wrung out. I'm sucked dry, whatever, however you want to put it. And that's really good. That's really healthy. We're just going to share the proudness. And like, that's huge. And I hope that you continue to do that throughout your entire life in every relationship, starting it with the most intimate relationships, and the longest relationships are always the hardest.
Yeah.
But doing that, it's going to allow you to now set those boundaries when you start a new relationship. And then you're going to find that that relationship is just going to be so nurtured and so loving and so healthy. And it's just so beneficial.
Yeah. I've definitely implemented a lot of open conversation into my newest relationship, personal relationships for sure.
Yeah. Are there any other goals you're going to bring, or is that it?
That's the main ones that I've been thinking of. That's the that I put the most effort into per se. I mean, I did the laying out and the whatnot. I mean, you can obviously look at how tan I am.
Casper. Just kidding.
Not wrong, but that's all right. I'm a porcelain princess.
You would be Casper the Friendly Ghost, though. Like, if you were a ghost, you would be Casper the Friendly Ghost. Like, that image just fits perfectly.
With my, like, awkward dad jokes that I'm laughing at and no one else is. And I'm like, yeah. That's all right.
Oh, I love that. I think goals for me is obviously I want to continue that self-love. I want to continue those affirmations.
Oh, yes.
I have been feeling them. Like, I have been feeling the love to myself, especially in the morning. That's what gets me up and to work and can't come in, sorry.
Not the coffee alone.
And taking my sleep self. Letting that side of me win.
I mean, morning autumn is its own entity.
Morning autumn has zero issues setting boundaries with anyone.
What a good way to put it.
Morning autumn is not a people pleaser. She is full on all about herself. We just need to find the healthy balance between my awake self and my sleep self. One of them that I honestly forgot, but I got back into painting. I've been painting more recently. And I want to continue that because it's another one of those things that I can have with myself. I can have with others. I can turn my brain off and just focus. I can allow my ADHD and OCD tendencies being able to like hyper focus and get technical and kind of almost have that like itched, like that need itched in a way. So I want to do that, but I want to do more of it. I want to learn new techniques, whether I take like a class or I go to another like paint and sip kind of thing or YouTube or whatever, but I want to learn more techniques. I want to grow that skill. I want to also upgrade my stuff. Like I really, really want an easel. I dropped that hint to Derek the other day. I was like, hey, I got my birthday or anniversary, Christmas on easel.
Was it heard?
He laughed, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll just, keep throwing it in there every now and then, and it'll be just like the espresso maker I hardly use. Except for this, I will use. Like, if I could have a setup, I would probably go and paint, like, every day. Like, I love painting. I love creating. That's something that, because I can be alone, but I can't be alone doing nothing.
Yeah.
When I'm alone doing nothing, I spiral. I think about everything or anyone, and I replay the situation. So, like, I need to do something that keeps my mind active with myself. And that can be painting. It could be reading a book. Really only those two that I've done so far. But, I mean, I would love to get into clay. I think that would be a lot of fun. I'd have a lot of fun with that.
I like that.
Yeah.
We should do a girls' night with clay. That'd be fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Idea book.
And so, yeah, I want to do more of that. It's an activity that I can do going into the fall and winter seasons. And so, yeah, that's one of my bigger ones that I've kind of implemented already and I want to carry into the next season. And then it's again, that just being in the moment. I find that especially with the holiday season coming up and like so much, like not only do you have Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, I have like 5 fucking birthdays within those months too. And then like 4 after New Year's. And it's just a long 6 months is what it feels like. And so I want to be really intentional with my time and with people, and just making sure I'm doing things that are for me, that I truly want to do, and that I'm staying in that present moment and not allowing my anxiety to bring me into like the future or the past.
Love it.
Yeah. I'm winded.
You reminded me of 2 more things for myself.
Yeah.
The first is reading. It's something I've actually started doing.
Oh my
I
God.
know.
We
I'm
should do a
on
book
2.
club.
I know you've wanted to
Can
do
you guys
that.
read it to me?
I have audiobooks.
All right, that'll work.
I actually see, the problem with audiobooks, not to cut you off, but the problem with audiobooks is like I really have to like the voice. Like other people can just listen to them.
Oh yeah.
But like me, like I have to like the voice. Like the voice has to bring the character to life. And so one of my other favorite series was just a new favorite series for me, Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Very good, very good, very, very, very good. The audio is just so robotic. Like it sounds like her, it has the tone that I would have had for her character, like very confident, very like I am me. But like there's not the emotion that she so clearly has in the book. Like she's so passionate for what she does. Decisions aren't made lightly, and this person is just so robotic to me, like doesn't have that oomph. So I was kind of sad.
That's why you should just read it to me.
Yeah, I'll just record myself reading like 7 books that are thick.
Were you reading anything good?
A Night in Its Moon series by Piper CJ, who's a popular TikToker and now best-selling author.
Oh.
It's the first book that's gotten me back into reading. I'm very picky with my books, and nothing has landed well, and this is the first one that I've picked up since the Inkheart trilogy that has really captured my attention, and I just don't want to put it down. And it's so immersive. Like she has on her website, she has playlists, she has candles and scents that you can buy. She even has recipes from the realm that you can make. And it's just like, yeah, it's really
immerse
cool.
yourself in that world. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I love that you guys are getting into books.
Well, it's also helped me, like, I truly get now the whole anxiety reducing aspect of it. Like how Cece just said, she's had waves of like heavier days. My anxiety has been coming in really heavy waves lately. And so I've been able to pick up those books and sit down, and it really helps focus my mind. Like I truly get it in a way that I can detach from the screens, because I have the physical book, which is something I'm a little nervous about. I'm open to trying reading books digitally, but I really do like that aspect of like I look at screens all day and I get to have a break from that.
There is something about turning a crisp page that you can't replace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the smell.
Yeah.
I'd be open to go to the library. Like I said, I'm willing to give digital books a try. I'm not going to shut that down. I'll try it. If it doesn't work for me, though, we have a library that I can walk to.
That is true.
Or drive to in the winter.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I will always choose a true book, like an actual physical book copy of a book, than my phone. But if you become, or at least me, I read so much that it's just so much easier to have it on my phone, or I prefer my iPad than to literally have a library. Because I have almost 300-400 books on my phone.
Yeah.
You'd have like one less room.
So it's like I leave unless someone's loaning me a book, I leave the physical copies of a book to something like a book series that's really special to me.
Yeah.
And so I'll be like, the Throne of Glass I want to buy, I would buy ACOTAR, and I would reread them with a physical copy.
TikTok really wants me to read ACOTAR.
ACOTAR is the same. author as Throne of Glass, and both equally really fucking good. And then you have the Crescent City, which is her newest one, and I think the third one comes out this November. But that's like what I love. Like, I'm definitely a hardcore fantasy person, but I can do mystery, I can do thriller, I don't really like textbook type things, so like self-help books are a little dry for me. That's probably something I would do like audio wise, but I love the fantasy. I love the anything can happen aspect that they bring. And yeah, I mean, I've read raunchy romances, you know, smut. It's all good. I have no hate. I love books. But I would definitely say my favorite is fantasy. And I have a lot of them.
She's tried to convert me. I just am a TV person. I'd rather watch it. That's just me.
That's me too. That's me I always have my morning show that I watch while I eat breakfast. I'm on from one binge to the next, to the next, to the next. But I have definitely found a new love for reading fictional books, because I do read nonfiction books, and you know, with my witchcraft and self-help, and
it's different though. It's so different. Like
when I'm thinking about myself, the other I'm able to lose myself in the world.
Yeah.
And it's really that. It's just allowing your mind to, I mean, I've said it before, I'll probably say it 1,000 times over, but your brain can only, you're only seeing what you're going to see, right? Like, it's your imagination bringing this to life, and it's so different for each person that you talk to. Like, obviously there's descriptors, you know, they're painting the scene for you, but you're bringing it to life in your head, and it's so different than a TV show or a movie. It's almost a little bit more intimate in that sense. And I think that's why book lovers are such lovers for these characters. It's because you grow almost an attachment. Like, if I like get lost in a book series, which one of the reasons why I like ACOTAR or Throne of Glass, because they're 6 to 7 book series. And so you have a good lengthy story, and they're intricate. There's a lot of levels.
Yeah.
And you read them and you get so lost in this story that you dream about it, right? And then you're like, you're thinking about it, and you have these emotions, like you're feeling the emotions of the main character. And so like you have this attachment or this attraction or whatever to this character. And you're just like, okay, wow. And then you're like living your normal life, and you're like, wait, Autumn, that wasn't real.
All right, I think this is it for the podcast. I gotta go read.
Oh, that's so funny. So there's that new TV show this summer, I Turned Pretty. And I watched the 2 seasons, and I was like, I've already read the books for them, so I already know the ending. But I was like, oh, and that's the nice thing too, right? Like I finished the TV series, season 1 and season 2, but I was like, oh, but I want more. Like, I want the ending. So I just read book 3. And I was like, oh, great. I read that in one night.
Yeah. That's like me with Harry Potter, when I didn't want to wait for the last movie before everything went down with Harry Potter. And I bought the last book, and then I read that Hedwig. Spoiler alert.
I would hope most people know.
I read that Hedwig died, and then I shut the book and put it into a corner and said, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm mad.
I remember when I watched not the first movie. I mean, I remember when I watched the first movie, but I remember when the 6th movie came out, and I watched the 6th movie, and Dumbledore died. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. I looked at my mom, I was like, this movie's dumb. But I didn't read the books yet. I didn't know, you know. I was just like, this movie's done for. Like, Harry Potter's dead. Dumbledore's dead. He's done.
Dobby's dead.
Yeah, it's just like,
So mad.
yeah, it's crazy.
Now Hedwig.
That's such a senseless death too. But
And then the other goal that I had that you reminded me of is a continued goal that I recheck in on every change of the season. And that's working with the seasons and my mindset of the looming winter and working on not hating it so much. And I know we're going to be diving deeper into that in a future episode, but I want to continue that goal because I've been working on it since last summer, last fallish. And while it's going to be slow moving, I have seen some improvement. And so I think if I just continue with this mindset and this goal, I think it will definitely help in the long run with seasonal depression.
I also I'm so excited for this winter because of the podcast too. Like it almost brings that sense of routine to the table that's like outside of your normal work day, personal routines, where it's like a time for us to connect with, our listeners, but also a time for us to connect with each other. And it's just like a very intentional space.
Yeah.
That I think is going to be very beneficial for us this winter.
Especially with these tipsy tarots.
Yeah. Although it's not
fun.
It's more of like a tipsy conversation.
I know. We'll get to the tarot. We're almost there, it feels like. But we always have these like deep conversations during them that just feels good. And we look forward to these conversations. It's fun, and we get to have a drink, and we're going to try out new drinks, and it's going to be fun. I look forward to these a lot. All right. So let's pull the first card. The first card is where to focus our energy this season.
It really ran away.
It flew across the room, and there's two cards, and the one I'm holding that I just saw is very fitting. The first card is the 9 of Pentacles, and the second card is Death.
Jesus.
Oh boy.
I mean, with Halloween, All Hallows Eve, Samhain, Day of the Dead coming up, and it's the time of year where the veil is thinner, and there's that aspect to it, but it's also a season of change, which is what the Death card is, and transformation.
9 of Pentacles. Indulge yourself. You deserve it. Your hard work is paying off, and you are now reaping the rewards. You feel at ease with your financial status, income, and schedule. Live loud with luxury, allowing yourself to enjoy the abundance that you've created. It is now time to celebrate and treat yourself, whether it's buying that item you've had your eye on or giving yourself time to rest. By staying true to yourself and your vision, you are improving the quality of your life. Show your true colors by saying yes to your independent spirit and the creations you are bringing forth into this world. Acknowledge your accomplishments and what it took for you to get to this place of fulfillment and satisfaction. Rich in inspiration, connect and replenish the unique beauty that you possess and provide in this world.
I want to talk on that further once we read the Death card, but before that, I just want to say like how I touched on how the Death card is perfect for this seasonal thing. What is it, 9 of Pentacles? Really touched on like the harvest of what fall is, especially like in September right now with reaping everything that you sowed and gaining that abundance. That stuck out to me.
I just love that this card's a Scorpio card. It's very fitting.
Very.
Death. No, I'm just kidding. Death. No, you're not going to die. That's just a common misconception of the Death card. Death indicates an end of an aspect of your life, which can range from a job to a relationship. Death must occur in order for you to have a new beginning, shifting you forward into a transition period of rebirth and renewal. The cycle of death is quite natural and can be seen in nature transforming throughout the different seasons. Like nature, you are also going to go through a transformation that will be of great significance. Change is coming, sweeping the past to the side so that you can embrace the opportunities of the future. Clear the clutter and let go of what is not serving you in order to make room for new life. When one door closes, another one opens. There is no life without death.
I love the Death card.
Well, it's such a fitting card since we are moving from summer into fall, and it is the closing of a chapter.
Yeah.
In a way. But I love the 9 of Pentacles.
Yes.
That was it. And it was like, don't forget to take that time for yourself. So that's what really resonated with me. Like, don't forget through this change as well. While we are trying to achieve being the best versions of ourselves, don't forget to take care of ourselves along the way.
Yeah.
That's just what I heard. If it's what it's meant to be for me, yeah, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm really feeling this right now.
I pointed out how those cards are so tied into the season that we're transforming into right now. And I feel like that just was like, wow, okay, those are perfect. But in terms of like our goals, I see it as how we talked about in the beginning of the things we want to continue to carry on, what worked well, and carry that abundance and, you know, have that moment of appreciation for ourselves for accomplishing these goals and continuing on and moving forward. And that's with the Nine of Pentacles. But then with the Death card is like looking at the ones that didn't work for us, what didn't serve us, and being okay with letting them go and turning our attention to something else and kind of having that look at all of your goals, what you have done, what you haven't done, what you want to continue to do, and having that focus on what you're going to bring into this season from summer.
I don't really have anything else to say. I feel like you guys really did hit it on the nail, though. Like you said, it's remembering that feeling of success, that feeling of confidence. Like, okay, I did this. Now I can bring it into the season. And now this is a routine and I have room for another goal. And like you said, letting those goals be ever changing. And like, even though you set them and you didn't accomplish it, but you accomplished a goal that you didn't know you even set.
Yeah.
And it's just, like you said, just bringing that positivity of it and not letting that negative side cloud it, and then almost being like open to the change and letting those endings happen, because they are bringing that new beginning. Like that Death card says, like it's not a bad card, it's not a scary card, it has to happen. It's that natural progression, and like embracing it and not being fearful of it.
Yeah. You know what, that you brought another spark to my mind is that fall in and of itself is that transformative time of like that growth and abundance, and everything's up and thriving and energetic, to the dormancy and quietness and solitude of winter. And so this focus on these goals during the fall season is kind of that whole seasonal thinking of what you're going to bring into the summer and continue in the winter, what you did in the summer and what you're not going to do in the winter, what's going to work for you then. It's not necessarily what you're going to be doing this season and then we're going to change again in the winter. Like it kind of feels like that this is this whole transformative time, these months of the fall into the winter.
Yeah. Autumn, she's transformative.
Autumn, Scorpio, death. It's very fitting.
You know, I love embracing change. I actually am very in tune to any time my perspective changes. I reflect on when my perspective changes, whether it be, you know, like a physical perspective change in a room where I rearrange, or it's just a perspective of a person or a situation or a past event or whatever the case may be. I am very in tune when it happens, and then I get excited when it happens because I'm like, oh, okay, that's a new look. Like I was named very fittingly and born in the correct season.
Yeah, it was
all meant to be.
Yes. All right. So the next card, growth I'm bringing into autumn. Oh, my favorite card of this spread.
Growth you're bringing into
Well, let's see what card was pulled. Let's see.
What are you pulling out?
If it's a certain card.
Watch it be a bone.
All right. Growth I'm bringing into autumn.
Or the growth we're bringing into this new season.
No. We're getting 2 more for those. Ooh, okay. We have 5 of Wands reversed and 8 of Wands.
Wands, wands, wands.
5 of Wands reversed. Conflict is uncomfortable. However, running away from your problems will not solve anything. Nipping it in the bud can help you practice confronting the issues head on, instead of shying away. In the act of avoidance, you tend to scatter your energy and prolong the conflict, making it even worse. This could also be a pattern of compromising your values to appease others. You may be feeling competitive vibes, especially from your coworkers. Listen to your gut instincts on who you can trust, as some people will not have your best interest at heart. Learn to choose your battles and if this is worth fighting for. Reserve your energy for bigger battles ahead and come to a truce to ease the situation. Sometimes keeping the peace is more worthwhile than being right.
That calls back to a conversation we had at the start of this, but we'll read the next card before we get into that.
8 of Wands. Ready, set, go. Your steady pace has turned into a full-on sprint, and you are now moving faster than ever. Progress is a process, and you are combusting with frenetic force, pushing your plans into rapid action. Things are falling into place in a serendipity.
Serendipity.
Why am I getting these crazy words? Serendipitous.
Serendipity. Serendippy.
Serendipitous.
Yes. Things are falling into place in a serendipitous fashion.
I feel like you should have had your pinky up when you said that sentence.
Intuitively.
Within structure, there is freedom, room for more self-expression and creativity. Boundaries enable you to think about the important tasks, funneling your efforts into concentrated focus instead of using up your reserves. Fueled by your passion, you are moving faster than ever, picking up inspiration along the way. Whirlwinds of possibilities flow freely around you in the center of the storm. Take advantage of the opportunities that come your way. The universe is working in your favor. Are we laughing at me and all my...
No. We're laughing at the fact that this question is what growth can we bring into autumn? And then you fucking say things like what you said.
Combusting. Fondling.
Serendipitous. Yeah. So I read these, but I didn't absorb these. So I want to hear what you have to say.
So, do you have anything you want to add first?
No.
Okay.
My brain was full dirty.
For me, this is like the growth we're bringing into autumn.
Oh, no.
So, what we've accomplished, the things that we have done this summer that we're bringing into this new season. And the first thing that it called back for me was your conversation on setting boundaries and how, like, you said you wanted to continue that. And I think it was like having that acknowledgement of like, you have made this feat, you have set yourself up for success to continue on, and you're able to take this goal, this thing that you've accomplished for yourself into this new season and continue on and can continue to progress. And then the second card got really dirty. But it still felt like that success of bringing those successes into the new season, which I guess is the question of the card. But it's like that energy of all the things you've accomplished, like, again, reviewing everything, and I guess not so much focusing on the goals themselves, but the feelings that have come with them.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to like what we said just before, where it's just remember, like, hold on to that feeling of pride and accomplishment and the dedication that you had and what that dedication did for you, and bringing that growth that you obtained into this new season. And by doing that, you're going to be able to continue that growth. Like you're going to have that growth pattern continue for you, and you're not going to hit a stagnancy and stuff of that nature, because you fall back on, instead of falling back on the habit of, oh my God, this is too much, this is overwhelming, I can't do it. You're falling back on, no, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it. I can do it again because I already did it. I've accomplished this, so I can accomplish something more. And it's allowing that inspiration to continue to inspire you.
Yeah. And then a layer on top of that is like that connection that you had with, I am setting this boundary because I care about this situation. Like having that, holding on to that clicked moment. Like for me, my self-love that I've been able to actually click into and holding on to that, and that realization that I push people away and I do things to self-destruct because deep down inside me, I don't think I truly deserve to be loved. And even though I feel that self-love for myself, there is that aspect there that I've realized have clicked in for me. And so I'm able to hold on to that through this season and continue to nurture it and love it and heal it.
Absolutely.
Why are you making me tear up? Oh. Hearing you say something like, I don't think I'm worth the self-love or whatever,
Love in general.
Well, I mean, it goes back to people pleasing, right? Like you and I are very similar in that factor where our entire lives, our worth was defined on how others viewed us.
Yeah.
And it's less of like a, you know, I have to look cute. Do they think I'm pretty? But more so, you know, what can I do to continue their love for me? Because we weren't taught how to love ourselves. We were taught that our love for ourselves came through doing things for others.
Yeah.
And so it's nurturing that part. It's changing your mindset from probably at a very, very young age, if not from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a hard feat, and that's a huge feat that you made. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's, you know, I remember when I had that transition, and that was a hard one. That's difficult, trying to change almost like your morals and your beliefs that were instilled in you by your parents and by your, you know, nature versus nurture type thing, and having to redefine them for what actually fits for you and who you are. That's huge.
Yeah. And it's really tied to that, like allowing myself to feel happy. Because there have been moments where I felt happy and I'm like allowing myself and doing those affirmations, like I'm truly going to sit in this happiness. And I think because I've started to truly feel these things, that clicked for me. It's like that feeling deep inside, that part of me is actually starting to heal because I started to realize that part of me is there. Yeah. So I'll be bringing that into the new season.
I love it. It's just heavy and hard to, you know, grow in that department, especially on my own self.
Yeah.
I still have trouble saying that in the mirror.
Yeah.
So it's still hard.
Looking at yourself in the eyes and saying
my
it.
God.
That's
It's
different.
hard.
That's different.
But always realizing that there's that underlining, like, what I get through, it is hard, but I fucking got through it.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I'm getting through it with a goddamn smile on my face. So I am fucking awesome.
Yeah, you are.
And it's knowing that, okay, there was a paragraph that I read earlier that someone had said to give another person advice. And it was something along the lines of, you've been in this situation where you felt like you were never going to be able to get out of it. And you got out of it. You did the damn thing. So it's taking a step back and sitting in that feeling of, I did the damn thing for that situation, and now I know I'm going to do the damn thing for this next situation, and so on and so forth. And it's just remembering to have that confidence and to have that, just that a confidence and accomplishment that you've already had XYZ bullshit happen to you and you made it through it, and knowing that, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You're strong enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That felt like some nice growth we're bringing into autumn.
Combustion.
And fondling.
We're going to combust and fondle that growth.
Oh, jeez.
All right. So the next card is an obstacle of this season.
Oh, boy.
Depression. Burnout.
Ace of Pentacles reversed. Pay close attention to your finances. You may need that extra cushion that you've been saving up for. Manifesting may feel a little harder with financial setbacks, but don't let that dismay you. This is just a sign to reevaluate your plan of what's working and what's not. Don't be afraid to ask for help from a financial advisor or do some digging with your own money research. Weigh the pros and cons before you commit to payments that you may not be able to afford. You may be consumed with climbing up the ladder and obsessing over money, at the expense of balancing the other areas of your life. Have a plan with financial goals you want to reach and create stability for yourself. It will set the foundation for the future of your new venture, even if it is just an idea right now.
Honestly, what spoke to me was that holiday season coming up and making sure that you're not going broke to give to others.
Oh, yeah.
Like presents wise. Because like I know every year, like I love gift giving, especially at Christmas. Like my goal is to get that perfect thing that person's going to be like, I didn't even know how much I needed this, but you knew how much I needed this. And now I have what I need, but I also have the love that you knew what I needed. That whole thing. And in recent years, I've had to dial it back because I would it's another aspect of people pleasing. I would literally go mentally not okay because I couldn't do what I wanted to do financial wise. And it's just knowing like, it's going to be okay. Like do whatever is within your means, make your within your means work for you. And just know that it's the intention behind it is what I had to start doing. And then I actually started like one of my favorite things to gift is like pictures because it's a way for me to have that intimate moment and share that intimate moment with others. I have painted in the past, just kind of like created that still sense of perfect gift. This is what they need, or when they look at this, they're going to have a sense of calm and love and remember that memory or whatever the case may be. But I didn't go broke over it. But I still had that drive with it. And to me, that's what spoke out. And also I've been debating on buying a new car. But I know that that's a very intentional purchase that I'll be making.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what stuck out to me was, you know, enjoying the holiday season and that it's not all about what marketing tries to make it be about, which is the gifts and the money.
Yeah.
And
definitely hit the nail on the head there.
yeah, and it's just spending that intentional time with your loved ones and with yourself.
And planning that out, like you said, like you can craft things, you can make things yourself. But there's also like, can you plan around the deals with Black Friday? Be very intentional, like plan out what you want to get people, when you're going to get them, plan around sales, that sort of thing. Like it had that intention of being very intentional with your money. Like you're not, it didn't seem like doomsday, like you're gonna have a very big financial setback or anything, but just like be smart with your money this season.
It almost felt like a warning. Like be intentional, because if you're not intentional and you're just silly nilly throwing your money, doing whatever for, you know, whatever the case may be, you will have that doomsday. You will have that, oh shit, I wish I didn't spend that because now I need it moment. And just being, you know, just being smart with your finances, and also just like smart with your decisions, period. Intentional with your time. both mentally, physically.
All right, I won't spend all my money on Halloween decorations.
I know we were debating buying more lights the other day, and we're like, all right, like, reel it back.
Lights you
There's
can buy
Dollar
so cheap,
Tree.
though. Yeah, like I was going to say, like,
They won't last that long, but
I think this is a good example of crafts.
No, we
yes.
want one more light strand. Like, we know. But the thing is I said, so I looked at John, I said, let that be our one investment for this season. I said, we can find one on clearance. Like, we can wait because we're going to put it up again next year. So that was my way of going, we know we're going to spend this money. Why don't we wait till it's on sale or something to save the extra cash because we don't need it right this minute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that right there is financially responsible.
Absolutely.
I also think it would be smart for you guys to just get like those LED light strips like we have. It'll bring that.
I would love that.
It would bring that added light that you want that you can then use year round. So it's a more intentional purchase.
And they definitely do Black Friday sales.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you are looking into that, you can find some good deals that
I
day.
bought all of mine for $15 a piece.
Yeah.
They're normally like 50.
Yeah.
I definitely want to get one for the bedroom, one for the living room. Like that's where we spend most of our time, most of the lighting ambience that I like. But for the spooky season, we like lighting in our doorways, especially in Christmas too. We do the same thing. But now that we moved around those one lights, which you will see in some TikToks here and there scattered through the spooky season, we have one more doorway that we just want, and I said I want a purple light.
Purple or pink? Because
Yeah.
we have purple lights in here
Purple or
right now, and you guys
pinky.
call them pink.
Done with that side tangent.
I mean, I think that's pretty much it for that card, is like the financial warning. All right, something to shed. The Six of Swords reversed.
Self-sabotage is controlling your actions without you even realizing it. By repeating these behaviors, it keeps you stuck in the same place rather than moving forward. No matter how hard you try, the past keeps catching up with you, and it's self-defeating, to say the least. Carrying emotional baggage leaves you heavy with memories you cannot change, lingering onto the present and influencing the actions you take in the future. Fear of the unknown keeps you safe even though it's stagnant. The Six of Swords reversed is a gentle reminder that change is good and encourages you to be brave during this transition. It will open doors you didn't know existed, but you have to trust the process. Open yourself up and allow yourself to transition to a new place. I think that just reiterates everything we've really already talked about.
Yeah.
How does it relate to the question, though? What was the question?
Something to shed. To me, that was calling me out. It was definitely like related to everything we've been talking about, but what I had just mentioned of my self-destructive nature.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just opened up with that.
Yeah, I think that it definitely calls on, like, don't allow the negativity to take over. Don't allow that fear to set in. Try and stick to that positivity, that inspiration, that love of change and love of yourself, and allowing that to guide you down this new transitional path and walkway and chapter, and letting the rest of that be where it is.
Yeah.
And wow, that's a lot easier to say than do. I think it just, it really reiterates of how when you're in a space that's so negative mentally, that is what's going to manifest around you.
Yeah.
And so when you can focus on the positive and have that inspiration and that love and that content in being who you are in this moment, and not berating yourself and giving yourself patience and grace, that's what you're then going to receive throughout everything, through this change. So I think that's like just like a gentle nudge again of like, hey, remember of death, and how change is good because you have a new beginning coming. And it's the same with like changing that self-destruction, right? Of like, no, I can't, I do deserve love, you know, with both myself and allowing others to love me, and letting go and allowing that change to happen.
Yeah. Because that moment when it clicked for me, it was completely subconscious. Like I was allowing myself to be happy. I was allowing myself to love myself. And when it clicked for me, it was like there was always that part of me in the back of my head doubting it or putting up my walls or just protecting myself for when the other shoe drops. And so this layer that I'm shedding of this is a very like bringing the subconscious to the conscious, because it's not happening in my darker moments. It's happening when I'm happy. And I need to like because I was able to have that click, I'm able to notice it more in those moments, and it will continue to be more noticeable, and I'll be able to now work through and heal it.
People get really comfortable where they are. Change can be scary, but people need to understand that through change, beautiful, beautiful things can happen. So if you never take that chance to walk the path of change, you might never know.
Well, it all comes back to what is comfy. So let me rephrase this. When you're comfy is when you need change. When you are starting to feel like, okay, wow, I'm comfy. Like, this is nice. That is when you need to do something to step out of your box. That is when you need to have a new experience. That is how you keep yourself growing. That's how you get out of that stagnant space. That's how you grow. Like, you can't stay in one space the entire time and expect to grow. That's just not going to happen. You've got to have those experiences that allow that change, that allow that growth.
Especially when people get comfy in a not so great spot.
Oh yeah. I mean, most times when you do become comfy, that situation that you're in is no longer serving you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be toxic. You know, it definitely can be toxic, but it doesn't necessarily have to be toxic. Like, I think back almost to like our Tipsy Tarot episode with Grace, and how she wasn't in a toxic environment in work, but she wasn't feeling challenged. She wasn't motivated. So she wasn't putting her best self forward because she didn't need to. She was comfy. And it's allowing that change and growth to happen. It's you actively stepping outside of that box and experiencing the uncomfy is when you experience that change and that growth.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you relate, I want you to ask yourself, well, no, first tell yourself that you deserve happiness and you deserve love. And then what does that bring up for you?
Yeah.
What memories are tied to that? What do you feel in your body? What questions are you asking yourself? What does your mind say? Like, psh, that's not true. What does that voice say? And I think the growth from there, or the growth starts from there.
Yeah.
I mean, just being able to ask yourself those questions is huge.
Oh, yeah.
Like that right there, like, you know that you're starting to mentally mature when you're able to question your mental state, when you're able to question, did I say that correctly? Did that situation happen in a non-toxic way, of course,
Without
you know,
ruminating.
like not spiraling, but being able to have that mental awareness, really. And yeah, just I always encourage that, because that's huge. That's how you grow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mine always, just touching on that a little bit more, mine always comes back like when I associate something, I don't know, like I always result back to like my middle school self and how having any kind of intense emotion or intense reaction was uncool. And so then I would be like, oh, Autumn. And then I'm like, what the fuck? You know, like
Yeah.
I'm able to see that and be like, get the fuck out of here. Like, no, we're not going to judge ourselves. Like, we can be loud, we can be passionate, we can be happy, we can be sad, we can be angry, we can do all the things, and they're all normal, and they're all accepted, and they're all okay.
Yeah.
So long as you do it in a healthy way, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's definitely not an easy thing to do, but so necessary.
Yes.
Ooh, okay. Something to forgive.
Ugh.
I feel it in my heart already.
If this calls me out.
The Magician.
I was going to say it's got to be a major arcana.
This is my birth card. When you add up all your numbers, month, date, year, and then you get it down to a single digit, that's your like tarot card. That
Oh,
signifies you. The Magician is mine.
I might want to figure mine out after.
Yeah.
Okay, the Magician. You've got the spark. Creation is the name of the game. Whether you pour your energy into a new life cycle or creative project, this is a time of pulling in all your resources to manifest your desires. Your toolbox is complete with anything you could ever need, and if it isn't, the right tools will appear exactly where you need them. You are resourceful and constantly finding innovative solutions to problems with grace and ease. The universe has your back and will provide you with the power to manifest your desires in the external world. Infinite opportunities are available as you continue to flow. Be clear about your intentions and use them to fuel purposeful action. The more specific you are, the more you magnetize your creative energy and manifest magic. Claim your power.
The innovative line totally spoke to me. And how I'm gonna pat myself on the back real quick, but I'm so naturally good at figuring out an innovative way to get out of a situation or to move through a situation, whether it be a physical situation of cooking or whatever, supplementing something of that nature, or just like mentally coping and stuff of that. Like, I'm just a very innovative person when it comes to that, and that spoke to me. And being able to apply that while going through this journey, like almost being able to step out of that box and figure out a new way to get through it. I don't know how to fully word that.
How do you need to what do you need to forgive?
Forgive. Oh shit. Definitely didn't go the right way.
It kind of threw me for a loop while I was listening to it.
Yeah, like I don't.
I was almost expecting, like, are you sure it's not reverse? But reverse isn't always the opposite. What pulled to me is I think we need to forgive ourselves for the time that we weren't able to embrace the energy of this card. So, like, the Magician to me is like, it's right after the Fool. You have started on this journey. You have everything at your fingertips. You can manifest. You can bring the abundance into your life. You have the opportunity. You just need to take those next steps. And I feel like I at least can definitely relate to times where I had that potential there and I couldn't reach it. I couldn't grasp it. I couldn't just take it for myself and allow myself to continue down that road because I was on that self-destructive cycle that I go through, and I lost those opportunities. More opportunities will continue to come, and I was able to move through it, and everything is good now. But when I have those harder moments and I have those bouts of depression or whatever, I do tend to ruminate on all of my life choices and all the ways that I've messed up and where I was the opposite of the energy of this card, where I didn't take that potential. And my life could have been this, it could have been that, the what ifs and all of that, like forgiving ourselves for not choosing that path, because we are where we are now because of the path that we did choose.
I kept
Yeah.
thinking it's trying to convey that we see a problem and usually take one step to solve it. But maybe that path is not what's needed in this moment, and it's going to surprise us in how we're going to conquer this situation. But I don't know what the situation is, because I'm trying to reflect it to my own life as well, where I already had something in my mind that it was going to call me out on.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is how I'm going to solve it. It's always been in the back of my head, but maybe that's not what I should be looking for.
I think that it may also be something that you can carry into this path. Like maybe it's not something that you need to forgive right away. Maybe it's not something that needs forgiveness right now, but maybe down the path that you go on, something pops up where you do need to allow yourself that forgiveness, that you do need to kind of let go, learn from it, but don't hold on to it, and allow that moment to happen too, in a way. Because like, you know, you're in that transformative period, and in transforming, not everything's gonna go right.
Yeah.
It's not a piece of cake. It's not a cakewalk. It's, you know, that hilly up down roller coaster, right? So when you do hit that low, because you're gonna hit the low, with the highs comes the low. It's a flip, you know, reverse. Allowing yourself the grace and forgiveness when you're at that low.
Oh, yeah. And that true depth of forgiveness. Because there's been times where it's like, oh, I went through that. I'm on this path. It's okay. But it's like in the heart of hearts, in the deep depths, like actually truly forgiving yourself and allowing yourself to move on and healing yourself from that situation, because you are holding on to it for whatever reason, whether you don't feel like you deserve happiness or whatever it is for you. You deserve to let that go. You don't have to continue to hold on to that weight and that burden. Next card. All right, we're turning it back around with something to harvest.
Corn.
It's corn. That was fast.
I like it.
Direct.
Knight of Pentacles. Slow and steady wins the race. A believer in tried and true methods, the Knight of Pentacles plods onward with patience and reliability. Routines make progress, and you make strides little by little, day by day. You are trustworthy in your approach and like to follow it step by step. Practicality rules your decision-making as you prefer to play it safe. Your duties lie toward responsibility and commitment, fully dedicating yourself to managing the minute details to get the plows running. Incremental progress is satisfactory since you know that this is proof that your strategy is working. There is no stopping the Knight of Pentacles. He knows what he wants and he will not stop in getting it. Stay true to your noble vision and you will eventually see the results.
So there was one word that stuck out to me, and that was patience.
Yeah.
Harvesting the patience, because a transitional period is long. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's allowing yourself the patience to get through it and knowing there is an end, and that end is going to be what you need. Because I don't want to say it's going to be beautiful, because it could be hard. Could be a hard end. Those have happened. Could be an end of a relationship. Could be an end of a really beautiful period. I don't know. But just allowing yourself to have the patience through it. Because I feel like especially in our society, we are so go, 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 rush, 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 must have everything in this instant moment, instant gratification, right? Where this isn't that at all. This is, you're going to put that work in, you're going to put that dedication, you're going to have that motivation, but you need to harvest the patience to continue to get through it. It's not going to be instantaneous.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long ride, but it's going to be more beneficial.
Yeah.
Good things take time.
Absolutely. For me, I had that visual of like harvest, right? It's something that's grown over spring and summer. It's something we've been working on. And what called back to me is how this summer, I feel like, at least for me, when we set these goals, it's like, oh, the sun, it's going to be accomplishment. We're going to get things done and do the damn things. And then things kept coming up, things kept getting in the way. Whoa, our curtain just fell.
Freaked me right out. Spooky season.
I thought the cat was in here and
I
got
did
scared.
for a
Me
minute.
too.
Ooh.
Oh, so this summer we had those times of like, we're not getting the things like, it took me months, I feel like, till I actually started on the goals that I set at the beginning of summer.
Oh yeah.
And that took, like, it was to the point where, like, am I going to do anything? And it's that patience that we grew over the summer of, like, with ourselves and doing these things and setting our goals and doing these goals or changing these goals or whatever it was, taking that and moving forward. It almost calls back to that zoom out view where we were looking at it, or at least I was looking at it, with summer being this season of accomplishment, when really that accomplishment, at least for me, was starting on these goals, for starting these routines. And then now I'm able to carry these into the next season and into the following seasons, and holding onto that patience of like, it's step by step, day by day. Whatever is going to work for you today is going to work for you today. Don't worry about a year from now. Don't worry about if you're going to accomplish these goals by the time you said that you're going to accomplish these goals, because you're going to check in every few months and things are going to change. And yeah, it's just carrying that with you.
Yeah. Yep.
I like that. I like how I heard that.
Jesus Christ. This goddamn chair, man. So what sat with me with that, to go off that, is how they're ever changing. Because I feel like a lot with goals specifically is like, I've set this goal, now I have to reach this goal. And if I don't reach this goal, I'm a failure. And then there's that whole spiral period.
Oh, yeah.
And I just kind of want to like give that more zoomed out like perspective of like, you've opened up your mind to this goal, and that's an achievement of its own.
Oh, yeah.
And to celebrate the little achievements and to harvest that celebration and that patience, and it'll continue to flourish, and it will continue to grow as, you know, its natural progression comes, but not like rushing it, just living in that moment and knowing what you truly need to do is going to happen. Yes. But the fact that you've now opened your mind up, you've started to manifest that, because that's truly what goals are, right? They're a manifestation, maybe in a different platform, but you've now opened that up to yourself. You've opened that up to the world, and now it's going to come for you because you're continuing that.
There's a trend on TikTok that's happening as we're recording this, where people are saying, you know, quote unquote, small feats. Like, I showered today. I got out of bed today. Things that call to at least depression. I know other things as well. And it's like what you were saying about celebrating those small accomplishments. Like, sure, you may have the goal of being able to wake up, shower, do all your hygiene care, clean the house, all of that. But if you were able to get out of bed today, and that took a lot of effort, absolutely worth celebrating.
If you were able to brush your teeth, if you were able to shower, I mean, maybe this is just me. I don't think it is. I think it's a lot of other people. But when I'm really going through it, getting in the shower is near impossible.
Yep.
It is so difficult. So is brushing my teeth. Like, I neglect that self-care.
Yeah.
And then I do it and I'm like, oh, well, this was great. Why do I neglect this? This is so easy. But it's like, it's just that feeling of hopelessness. And then it's like, but I don't, what does it matter?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. And it's just, when you do it, really revel in that accomplishment, so that the next time that you're in that hardship, you can remember the accomplishment and how that felt. Yes. And that can give you the drive and motivation to do it again.
Yeah. Because there's also conversations I've seen more recently of like, self-care isn't showering and brushing your hair, brushing your teeth or whatever. Those are basic necessities. And it's like, okay, yeah, I see how people are overutilizing that in a way, but if that is not someone's normal, if they are absolutely struggling to do those things and it takes it as being seen as an act of self-care to do those things, and it brings them a sense of accomplishment and pride in themselves and like gratefulness that they were able to get those things done, there is no harm in that.
Yeah, I don't like that perspective. I have to say I don't agree with that because it is a form of self-care. Taking care of yourself is a form of self-care.
Yeah.
And the fact that there are people out there where they don't struggle with that's awesome. They should feel grateful and blessed. And maybe they struggle in other ways. Maybe they struggle to feed themselves. Maybe they struggle, for self-love of, not tearing themselves down in other ways. Or maybe they don't have those struggles. That's awesome. But it's that is the basis of self-care. Like when you go down to the very basics of it, is being able to get up and do those basic necessities of washing yourself and cleaning your mouth and feeding yourself and not laying in bed all day sleeping because sleep is the only relief that you can get from your mental spiral. Like, yeah, that's definitely a perspective that I would love to talk to that person. We would have a really good, well, maybe
we have an whole episode of it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a deeper discussion that I would love to get into.
Yeah, because that's
someone who hasn't experienced those types of lows.
Yeah, and just having that zoomed out perspective of like, okay, just because that's already a norm for you and you don't have those struggles doesn't mean that that's not an act of self-care. It's just an act of self-care that's a routine for you. It's not like an extra act of self-care. So maybe you have a 9-step skincare plan. That's your act of self-care, but this person washed their hair.
Yeah. I feel like in essence, self-care is what nourishes your soul. And sometimes that is getting out of bed. It is continuing to live.
Absolutely.
Heavy.
Last but not least.
Because my butt is done.
Something to embrace. The King of Pentacles reversed.
Oh, what a pentacles. King of Pentacles reversed signifies a man who is possessive over his finances and belongings. He often brags and is impressed with social status, with a desire to be among the 1%. He is an excessive spender with little regard for the needs of others. This dilutes his stability in relationships. There is a limit to extravagance when it's done with ego instead of generosity. His affluence comes with a superiority complex, believing the amount in his bank account defines his enormous self-worth. Selfish and entitled, his number one priority is making money, often comparing and judging others by their dollar signs. The King of Pentacles reversed reminds you that your net worth is accumulation of your wealth in relationships, spirit, and love. Money isn't everything. I have to say, this reminds me of the conversation we had when we were trying to pick out the scent and how I told you that wealth is so much more than just like what's in your bank account, but it's
the scent of the simmer pot that we decided to brew while we recorded this today.
Yeah.
My bad. But that wealth is so much more than the dollar signs that you have, your net worth, so we'll say. But it's your mental wealth, it's your physical wealth, it's your spiritual wealth, it's how you treat others, it's what you give and what you receive. And greed, on the flip side of that, is so much more than just gotta have the money, but it's, am I constantly taking from someone's cup and not filling theirs back? It's, am I taking and always expecting to receive, but never giving to others. And that could be in a mental way. It could be in a physical way. It could be, in all aspects. And I think that that's what this card is saying is like, through this journey, don't focus on, I'm losing what I want to say.
Don't focus on the financial wealth. It's the wealth as a whole.
Well, it's like, don't focus on the materialism, I guess, because like our society is so materialistic.
Oh gosh, yes.
And it's more so focus on the ways that you can build wealth in other areas of your life.
Even to add on to that, if we're talking about wealth too, because what kept popping in my brain was abundance. People usually associate abundance with money. But like you said, it's about all of those aspects. And your image of, are you taking versus pouring into someone else's cup? If you don't truly believe that you deserve abundance, whether that's a great amount of wealth or whatever it is, you are blocking yourself from it in some way or aspect. Instead, try and call in that you want the abundance to overflow so that you can fill the other cups of the people around you. You deserve to have that, and you will. It's not like you're going to be greedy and take it all for yourself and just continue to grow your cup. You're going to let it overflow and spill out onto the others around you and spread that positivity and continue that flow.
Yeah. Did I not just say to you, I don't want to be greedy? And you flipped it on me. It made me view it a different perspective, and it was really cool.
Like that card was that conversation.
That's
picking out the
so
scent for the
funny.
simmer pot was
Yeah.
like, you said that, and then I explained further on how wealth and greed have other meanings, and that, you know, I mean, our nature around us is so money driven.
Yeah.
Everything is driven by money. Like our entire economy, our entire society, country is driven by money. And that it really comes down to money does not buy happiness, because it can't buy self-love.
Yeah.
And it's like what she says, if you have an abundance of self-love, you can then love others in the way that they need. And it's just being able to share that. What was the question for the card?
Something to embrace.
So yeah. Embracing the fact that everyone deserves wealth, financial wealth, mental wealth, physical wealth, but not allowing the greedy side to take over, not allowing it to stem into a toxic way, but allowing it to be fulfilling.
Yeah. And having that confidence that you aren't going to be that way. You know yourself.
Yeah.
If you have an abundance of wealth, I know that you're going to spread it onto other people. Whether that is happiness, whether that is financial, whatever it is, you're going to continue to push it out. And kind of like that positivity train when you go to Starbucks and like, I'm going to pay for the next person or the person behind me's order, and spreading that positivity.
Yeah. I know, it's ending on such a warm note. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And how it was a big circle, because we had that conversation to the start of our simmer pot, and then this whole conversation,
Which was like before, guys, that conversation happened before we even had any other conversation.
Yeah.
It was before we even sat down to start to record.
Yeah.
It's when we were having our technical difficulties. I find that happens through these readings a lot.
Yeah.
That they just
kind of like, your path, but here's a little reassurance.
It's those synchronicities.
I love that.
Well, I really want to hear how this reading resonated, how you reflected it into your own life, how you plan on moving into this new season and this new path and transitional period. And I'm curious to see how that worked for you guys, and I hope you share.
Yeah, and I hope us sharing our stories on episodes in general, but I know we touch on some more deeper things tonight. I hope that it calls to you and you don't feel so alone if you do relate.
That it's just a nice warm hug. And we're here for you, and we love you.
Yes.
And we appreciate you.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Unfiltered 3. Remember, we release new episodes every Monday. But if that's not enough, connect with us on our socials at Unfiltered 3, where we can uplift, inspire, and embark on this journey together. Thank you for listening and for being a part of our community. Until next time, take care and keep shining your authentic light. Bye, guys.
Bye.